Lake Macatawa, a freshwater lake located on the western side of the Michigan Mitten, the final receptacle for the Macatawa watershed.
Hey! A little respect here.
Gadzooks! This lake is full of phosphorus.
Too much phosphorus is a real problem for a lake. Phosphorus is an element that can cause excessive plant and algae growth. Lake Macatawa suffers from something called hypereutrophia,
Which has nothing to do with hyper or trophies, and everything to do with phosphorus getting into the watershed.
Hypereutrophia is a condition of too many nutrients. When a lake has too many nutrients, it causes excessive plant and algae growth. When these plants and algae die, they sink to the bottom of the lake and decay, robbing the water of oxygen.
But wait, how did this happen?
Back when I was just a vapor, I could see the world laid out before me. I hoped and hoped to be a drop on a wetland, or a rain garden, or a nice unfertilized lawn. But no. It was a dark and stormy night. Suddenly, we were all tossed together, and I was falling. What a rush. Then, splat! I land in it. Look, I know cows have to go somewhere, but just my luck. At first I just settled in, but so many jobs came down that soon we were all drawn together and began to flow downhill. We entered the watershed. Leaving the farm, we traveled across forests, through neighborhoods, and down city streets. A lot of soil particles had joined us by now. Particles containing phosphorus. Basically a free ride for them. We began to get momentum and volume, and whoosh! We enter the storm drain system where we end up at Lake Macatawa and finally get to wash some of this dang sediment off. Which contains phosphorus, which allows the plants to grow and die and take all the oxygen. So could you help me out here?
Stay on the edge of your seat to see how you can do your part to combat hyper-eutrophication. A tragedy is afoot. 53% of our wetlands have...
Welcome to the wetland.
Why, thank you. I was about to say... A tragedy is afoot. 53% of our wetlands have been destroyed.
Whoa, dude. What a bummer. What are you laying on these good people?
I don't lay things on people. I am the narrator.
That's cool. But why don't we have science woman take the heavy stuff?
According to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Michigan has lost 50% of its wetlands. Wetlands aren't just a pond with cattails. They can actually be a grassy meadow, a mature forest, or a shrubby field. All these are being degraded due to development. It's not just enough to protect the wetlands that we have. We need to restore the ones that we've lost.
That is a serious bummer. Wetlands are the coolest places around. They're versatile and multifunctional. Check this out. Dude, welcome to the upland. You're probably going, it looks more like a dry land than a wetland. The upland is dry. It has trees and grass and wild flowers. I'm in the riparian zone, dude. The land of transition. Sometimes wet, sometimes not so wet. It's always a popular spot for the plant life. I love the plant life. I love the boogie. Which brings us to the aquatic area, where things are wet, wet, wet. Sometimes it gets really deep, and sometimes it gets incredibly shallow. What's the coolest about wetlands is how they work. It's not really work, more of an expansion plan. Water comes in. As the water flows over the upland and through the riparian zone, sediment and minerals are filtered out. The wetland acts like a giant sponge, absorbing water and releasing it slowly.
The benefits of wetlands are so numerous it's difficult to list them all. Wetlands are nature's kidneys, filtering and purifying the water as it passes through them. The unique characteristics of wetlands provides habitat for wildlife, and in fact, over 50% of the threatened and endangered species utilize wetlands. Wetlands also provide a critical floodplain storage component and are important for stabilizing not only our shorelines but our stream banks as well. The recreational opportunities in wetlands include birding, hiking, canoeing, fishing, hunting.
Wetlands aren't just another pretty place. Wetlands are an important component of the quality of life on Earth.
Dude, that's beautiful. What can they do to help?
Find out about wetlands near your home. Get into a wetland by participating in the Macatawa Watershed Project. Tell your friends, teachers, and parents what you've learned about the important role of wetlands.
Dude, welcome to the wetland.
What's faster than a sluggish toilet? More powerful than a garden hose? Able to move mountains all by itself?
Stormwater. I stand for truth, justice, and don't get in my way. I'm fast, and I'm strong, and exceedingly humble. I've got no time to hang around soaking in the sights. Working with my old pal Gravity. Yo, I really gotta move! Where I really gain my momentum is from impervious surfaces.
Impervious surfaces. Those are surfaces such as roads, sidewalks, parking lots, and rooftops. These are items very common in an urban setting. When rainwater falls on these items, it must run off, and it runs off into the local streams, rivers, and lakes, many times causing water quality impairments.
In my line of work, you get used to running with dirt and debris, but occasionally, I run with the rougher crowd. I've been known to pick up pesticides and other chemicals. When they're laying there, they're just so powerless against me. I can't help it. It must be some sort of H2O magnetism. Everything I collect goes right down the storm drain, straight into the watershed, ending up in Lake Macatawa.
90% of the phosphorus that enters Lake Macatawa is from stormwater events. Lots of people think that the water that enters the storm drains goes to a treatment facility, but it doesn't. It goes straight to the watershed. That's why it's so important for all of us to do what we can to keep the pollutants out of the storm drains.
There's lots of things people can do to help. Homeowners, use fertilizer on your lawn that does not contain phosphorus. Make sure no fertilizer gets on the driveway or street. Wash your car on the lawn and not on the driveway.
Do what you can to keep stormwater clean.
Keep it clean, because I'll keep it moving!
Things are not all peaceful and pastoral on the farm. There seems to be a ruckus of some sort.
You're right. They're all pretty mad. Water works really hard on the farm, and we figured we shouldn't have to carry a bunch of sediment and phosphorus along when we head down the old watershed. Nothing grows without water. Crops like corn and wheat need water. Hogs and cows and even chickens need water. It's an important job.
70% of the Macatawa watershed is agricultural land. Farmers use buffer strips, which are grass strips 50 foot wide or wider, to keep their farming activities further away from the streams. Farming activities include application of fertilizer and pesticides. The water, as it would pass from that area, it would go through the grass buffer strip and be filtered out before it enters the streams.
Water on the farm might come from irrigation. That's where the farmer pumps water onto the crops. Or it might be from rain. Farmers are always hoping for rain.
Not so fast. Too much rain passing over a farm creates problems for the watershed.
Yeah, stormwater can be kind of pushy and carry all sorts of stuff into the watershed.
Actually, farmers are mandated by the state to manage their manure to prevent that from happening. Farmers manage their manure by storing it properly and by applying it at the proper time in the proper amount so that the crop can use it, making it sustainable.
Ugh. I think we all need to get the word out about keeping stuff out of our watershed.
Spread the word about how sediment and fertilizers affect the watershed and what farmers can do to help.
Zoom out a little. A little farther. A little farther. Not that far. That's good.
Action! So glad you can join me for this exclusive look at land use, the big picture. I'll be your host. My name is Brad Drip. Now you might think that where things like towns and factories and farms are located happens just as naturally as, well, rainfall. But that's not the way the big picture comes together. Let's go back to the beginning.
Man has always sought to understand his surroundings.
Land. Water.
Yes, the part of the world not covered by water is covered by land. In the beginning, land cover was natural, like forests, meadows, deserts, or wetlands. Man set about to tame the land, to use the land, to invent land use.
Land use is a simple term that refers to all of the physical things around us. It includes our neighborhoods, our residential areas, our commercial districts. It includes our park systems and our farmlands. It really is a descriptive term that embraces all the physical environment.
Gentlemen! Surface impervious makes a strong point. The aqueducts cannot be made of cheese. They must be constructed of a surface that will not absorb water. A surface where water runs off. I give my support to Senator Impervious's idea to use concrete, and in honor of Senator Impervious's stroke of genius, from this time forward, all surfaces that water cannot penetrate shall be known as impervious surfaces.
And so it began. Mankind set about creating the roads and roofs and parking lots made of impervious surfaces. Soon civilization spread to the New World, where land was plentiful and land use was defined by the homesteaders and claim stakers.
I claim this wee parcel of fine land for me own.
We owe a debt of gratitude to the early city councilors who really began the practice of land use planning.
Planning, planning, planning. Keep those planners planning, plan on.
Land use planning is a process that involves the community in making decisions about how we use our land around us. It includes decisions about where our neighborhoods are, where our farmlands can be, or how they may be changing. It really is an ongoing process that involves all of our community.
As our population grew, land use planning became more sophisticated. Today, land use planning is one of the most important influences on the Macatawa watershed.
I volunteered to be a planning commissioner. We usually meet once or twice a month. An applicant will come before us with a request on building or changing a sign. We will look at that request, deny it, approve it. We try to balance the economic needs of the community with community values and the natural world.
There are watershed-friendly land use choices to be made, like compact developments, smaller streets with less impervious surfaces, and mixed-use urban developments where people live and work.
The future of land use is to be determined by you. So contact your local government today and find out how you can become part of land use. The big picture.
Okay, fade to black. That's a wrap.
Didn't you love me as the Roman senator?